For 13 years, Andrea Kelly was married to platinum-selling R&B singer R. Kelly. She's breaking her silence about the years of abuse she says she suffered from the Grammy-winning artist whose fame has been overshadowed by a list of disturbing sexual abuse allegations, all of which he denies. Take a look. In 1994, 27-year-old R. Kelly allegedly marries 15-year-old singer Aaliyah in a secret ceremony. The marriage is reportedly annulled less than a year later. From 1996 to 2002, during his marriage to Andrea, a marriage in which she says he physically abused her, 3 other women sue R. Kelly for alleged inappropriate sexual contact with teenagers. He reportedly settles with each of them. In 2008, R. Kelly stands trial for 14 counts of child pornography related to sexually explicit photos and a video of an allegedly underage girl. In sum, he's accused of performing disturbing acts, including urinating on her. He's acquitted of all charges. 2017, 8 years after his divorce from Andrea, a report in BuzzFeed claims that Kelly engaged in controlling behavior, including holding several women against their will. He and women he lives with deny the allegation. This summer, he addressed many of the controversies swirling around him in a 19-minute-long song called I Admit.
Now I don't know what else to say except I'm so falsely accused. Tell me, how can you judge when you never walked in my shoes?
Please welcome Andrea Kelly. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You were married to R. Kelly for 13 years. You've been divorced for 10. Why come out now?
Because it's about saving lives. And you cannot not speak when someone's life and what they've been through is parallel to yours. It's different when you hear things and it's like, oh, I heard it on the radio or I read it in a magazine, but it's different when you hear words that ring true to your spirit because you've survived it and been through it. And I wanted to bring validity to these women's stories because I think so much it falls on deaf ears and no one believes them. So I felt if I could come forward and say, you know what, it's true because I've been through it, and the things that these women are saying, they would not know my life unless they've been through it too. I have to speak up.
So the Me Too thing is what prompted this?
No, actually it was seeing a young lady on another talk show, and some of the things she had described in detail, I had been through, I mean, verbatim.
I see.
Wow.
And it was just something about that that pierced my spirit, that I was like, if no one else is going to speak up for her, if no one else is going to believe her, at least she knows that I do.
Okay.
And I know this may be difficult for you to recount, but I want to ask you this. You were the victim of domestic violence during your marriage, you say, and you talk about a Hummer attack. Can you share that with us?
I'm going to try to get through it without crying. Very difficult. A lot of people know that I'm a professional dancer, so my body is my work. And I remember one time he attacked me in the back of a Hummer, and I do suffer from PTSD because of it. Whenever Hummers, when I would see them on the road, I would shake, my hands would sweat, and I would get nervous, and I couldn't breathe. And he attacked me one time in the back of a Hummer, and I thought I was going to die in the back of the Hummer. Because what he had done, he'd taken this left arm and pulled it behind me, and his weight was on my body, but he didn't realize his forearm was on my neck. So as he's pressing down, my breathing is getting labored. And the only reason why I think I made it out is because I said, Robert, you're gonna kill me. I can't breathe. You have to get your arm off of my neck. And I just remember sitting in the back of the Hummer and it got blue. And I just thought, oh my God, I'm gonna die in the back of this Hummer and he's gonna drive off with my body in the back seat and nobody's gonna know.
And you also talk about being hogtied.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I oftentimes say when he would have an episode, I knew when it was about to happen because his eyes would change and his demeanor would change. And there was something in my spirit, I would get very fearful because I'm like, I think he's going to attack me. And he got really angry with me and he started arguing with me. And I'm like, you know what, I'm fine, I'm not gonna do this with you. I don't wanna argue with you, I don't wanna fight with you. And he was like, you what? And I just remember instantly when he grabbed me and threw me down, I was on my stomach. So I'm trying to fight to get away. So what he did, he grabbed, it was the strap to his robe off of the bed, and he had his knee in my back, and he took both of my arms behind me, tied them, and then attached my legs to my arms. And he hog-tied me and left me on the side of the bed, and he actually fell asleep. And that's the only way I got away, because I was like, okay, God, how am I gonna get out of this? And God said, just lay there. And I'm thinking, well, no, I gotta get away. But that was the best thing I could have done, because he actually fell asleep. And that's the way, me being a dancer, I'm like, if I keep moving my legs, it's eventually gonna make this get loose. And if I can get my legs loose, I can get my arms loose. And I finally did and got away.
Did you?
Yeah.
What set him off? What would cause him to get in these?
It could be anything from the milk being too cold or not cold enough for breakfast. It could be anything from, you knew I told you not to wear that. That's too revealing. It could be if I answered him in the wrong way, if he felt there was too much tone in my voice.
Was he like that before you married him?
Not at all.
No, of course
not at all.
It
No
fooled
abuser
you.
is.
And you get victim shamed, right? And your kids have been bullied. Tell us about this.
When I came out, I thought, great, I'm gonna empower women and save lives, and this is gonna help someone, and they're gonna believe his victims. And people actually said, oh, she's coming out because she needs money, or she didn't say anything because she got money. And there's not enough money in the world for any woman to stay and be abused.
At some point in your marriage, you reached a very dark place. I mean, which is quite understandable from what you're telling us. And you thought about suicide, I understand.
I did. I tried to
So
commit suicide.
tell us about that period. What happened there?
It was after an incident with my youngest daughter, Joanne, who actually gave me the strength to leave. And we were looking at some pictures, and the long and short of it is, he was being belligerent with me, and my daughter goes, Daddy, why are you being mean to my mom? Why are you talking to her that way? And it was like a light went off for me, because I knew in that moment, if you stay and she ends up with a man like him, and you tell her to leave, she's gonna say, but why would I? You stayed with my dad all those years. So I knew I had to be a living example for my daughter. But even in that moment of strength, there was a moment of weakness when I left the room, and I went out on the balcony, and I climbed up, and I put one foot was on the railing and the other was on the wall. And I got on top of the balcony, and I looked down, and God allowed me to see myself laying in blood. And I just remember hearing my kid's voice in the background saying, Mama, Mama, why did she jump? And that was my darkest moment, because as a mom, when you're willing to leave your babies without their mom, that is your lowest low, because as a mom, you live for your children. And the fact that I was ready, the fact that I was willing to leave them let me know the best thing you have to do for you and your children to live is leave.
And then you filed a restraining order.
I did.
In 2005. What prompted you to do that? And did you tell anyone at that time? The police come to you? Did you tell family members what was going on?
I told my family members. My grandfather actually took me to get the restraining order, which the irony in that is the first time I ever saw a man beat a woman was my grandfather, and he was a Baptist preacher. Yeah, so that was very difficult for me, that here's this man taking me to get a restraining order, and I've seen this, and it's familiar, and that's what I want people to understand too. It's not something that just comes out of the blue. Everybody has a root to their tree, and if you look at the root of your tree, you will see where that behavior is familiar and why you've attracted it. And my grandparents growing up in that is how that happened for me, and yes, I had to get a restraining order against him.
That's very true what you're saying. Very astute.
And by the way, we reached out to R. Kelly's management team about the allegations of domestic abuse, and they had no comment to us on this, but legally we have to say that.
Yeah.
Do you think that because he's not paying child support for your youngest,
He's not paying for any of my
for
children.
any of the children?
No, he stopped paying child support.
Are you being punished?
Yes, it's a form of, people think that domestic violence is just the physical. The physical is the aftermath of the emotional, the psychological, and the mental that you've already been through.
We'll be right back with
Aren't
more.
there laws? I mean, nasty.